but we do it for you. My guest today, an exciting man, a man that I have a lot of respect for. He's a man who's traveled the world, he's done exciting things, but the best part about him is he's a Texas man, and I am a Virginia man, and that appeals to me. Now, if you don't know something about the South, you're about to find out as I introduce to you one of my favorite people in the world. His name is Mark Rafael. He's right here next to me. There he is.
Very well.
Thing of all. And today you're doing some work, but in a good way.
That's right.
With the very same subject.
That's right.
Of camps, refugee camps.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's where the segue is really that the Camp of All Saints, I have the good fortune since a number of years to be learning about humanitarian action. I've dedicated myself to that. So the Camp of All Saints that I know about is on the Turkey-Syria border. Anyway, I've come to be a humanitarian practitioner after a career in journalism, media, government. Now I was very much moved and touched by the what happened in the Middle East, the Arab Spring 2011 and 12, and particularly about Syria, this mass exodus because Bashar Assad decided to hold on to power, and the way to do that is to create a humanitarian catastrophe. So half of the population is outside of Syria. They've been pushed out. And people know, and you know what, it's 2019, but it's still going on. Half the population has been displaced, and if you see the suffering, I mean, if you confront yourself with what's happening in Syria over the last 7 years, not only 500,000 people killed, but another 500,000 people missing, and 11,000 displaced. Half of those internally displaced. 11 million. Thank you. 11 million, half the country. 11 million internally displaced. Half of them internally displaced. People don't know where they are. Yeah. The other half have come, many to Europe, gone to the camps. Yeah. And Turkey, the place where we operate, on the Turkish side of the Syrian border, there are 3 million refugees. So 3 million Syrians came north, sometimes 50, 60 miles, and they're traumatized, in bad shape, and Turkey was able to host them and offered, you know, people like us and another 200 INGOs, meaning international non-governmental organizations, who wanted to try to alleviate the situation.
Yours is non-governmental. That's an important
That's right.
point. Who's behind you?
Well, we did our best to get funding from various sources. Yes, and I was bold. I was bold and cheeky. Maybe the viewers will forgive me. I called it the Solidarity Corps, Corpus Solidarności. This is something we got to talk about.
Well, this was another point we wanted to get to.
Something we're going to get to.
Sure.
Nevertheless, the Solidarity Corps. Okay, it's a for the moment a makeshift operation. I did make the rounds in Warsaw in 2012-13 to get buy-in from the government in terms of, you know, material, support, maybe some funding, specialists, doctors, nurses, engineers, you know, people who can run. Poland has these capacities, but I didn't succeed. So I had to find people from all over, and we managed to look at.
What kind of people? You mean medical personnel?
Yes, the staff. We managed to. I was hoping the Poles, because, you know, solidarity is a beautiful term, and Poland Solidarność, solidarity is something we grew up on it.
We know all about it.
We know all about it.
It's in our blood.
All the viewers know. The reason you guys are watching this show.
Even to us who grew up in the South.
Growing up in the South of Poland, the global South, in South Africa, whoever, you know, in the South side of the track, South side of Chicago, whatever, even in the North, everybody knows what solidarity is.
South side of Virginia.
And Poland is associated with solidarity. But I'm thinking we got to come up with solidarity 2.0. Right? The legacy's got to continue. Now, I tried to make that case in 2012-13 to the powers that be that this is a time to react. Don't sit on the fence, right? This is a time to react because Poland's greatest export, Will, you may agree, is not vodka. It's good, but it's not Poland's greatest export. Neither is it agro-tourism. Nice, right? But it's not the best. The best is the Polish sense of mission, improvisation, their ability to get stuff done in difficult conditions. And are we not the heirs of John Paul II, St. John Paul? Are we not the heirs? And what does it say? Blessed be the peacemakers. They will be called the sons of God, right? So Poland, just as a reminder, and this is my little bully pulpit, it had a great chance.
Go ahead.
Yeah, 2012, Will.
Yeah, I agree.
Second half of 2012, Poland had what was called the 6-month rotating presidency in the European Union. 6-month rotating presidency. What does that mean? It means they could set the agenda for the European Council. And the Arab Spring had just exploded. Now, Poland has the experience of the round table. Remember the round table talk?
1989, spring.
Yeah. Perfect. Those round table talks are not only the table, the round table is an exportable piece of merchandise, but the spirit of getting people together. And I was going crazy at that time. I was telling all the folks, Tusk, Sikorsky, I said, let's get the round table, take that piece of furniture, and let's get the people to Warsaw. And let's get talking, because there's going to be a bloodbath. And, well, it didn't happen. You know, a million dead later and a hot conflict going on. Poland has a role to play. But why do I mention that? Solidarity 2.0 means that Poland can, could, and should easily create the world's best humanitarian unit. And you heard it here. We have doctors, nurses, missionaries, engineers, the spirit of volunteerism in Poland. Poland has got this kind of a tradition. The idea is, is to get up and get out, and the government needs to, all they need to do, they don't need to give me any money, but the young people that want to come and help the Solidarity Corps, they need at least 6 months of health care or their basics covered when they leave the country. So so
you're covering the basics.
We'll give them sleep, we'll give them a little money, we'll give them tents, we'll give them food, let them do their thing, but let the stuff that they forfeit at home. And here's the first takeaway. Intelligent humanitarian aid. It's about getting people in on rotations, specialists, for 6 months, but look after their needs at home for the time that they come. Okay, so the Solidarity Corps can be done by Poland. It doesn't cost a lot of money, very inexpensive for the taxpayer. The taxpayer who is paying, and this will be my last sentence, taxpayer is already paying $1 billion zlotys a year, the Polish taxpayer, to upkeep materiel which is sitting stockpiled, is sitting. Dubious contractors are maintaining stuff which will never be used, and we got the need for meals ready to eat, for blankets, for tents, for old trucks. All that stuff can be used in the humanitarian sector, and add on to that Polish personnel that can maintain it. So it means that at a camp like in Turkey, we have South Sudan, one in Greece. You can put the Polish flag into the soil.
You got one in Ethiopia too, right?
Got one in Ethiopia, just setting up. Small thing, but the Polish flag should be in the soil. It shouldn't be me, doing this by myself, right?
Good.
So it can be done. There's intelligent ways to do it nowadays, and this is how we got talking a couple of months ago. This is an important issue, and I think Poland has a great role to play.
Well,
so
Poland has great professionals and a great university system that produces great professionals, and
yes, it does.
Across, famous for engineers particularly abroad over the years, and a lot of doctors who've gone, and that's the sort of help you could use.
Sensational doctors
and nurses, right?
and military people. I mean, the Polish military in the last 15 years. This is a big discussion. How the configuration of the Polish military. So, Afghanistan, Iraq. NATO said, the US of A, our boys said, well, Poland has to have an expeditionary footprint. We've got to do expeditions in in faraway countries, Afghanistan and Iraq, and Central South there in Iraq, well, South again, right? It was held down by General Valdemar Skripchak, who I salute today because he's come and offered me fine advice on the Solidarity Corps, and this is a premier logistician. Anyway, an accomplished general. But the point here is that today Poland is saying, probably smartly, territorial defense. So we've gone from Tora Bora, where I think you've been, we've gone from Pakistan-Afghanistan border, from Iraq coming back and doing
I was there in 2001. Yeah.
2001.
As a reporter.
You were there as a reporter.
Not for black water or something like that. No, just a reporter.
Listen, whatever the color of the water, it was muddy. The waters were muddy.
It was extremely muddy.
So the expeditionary, I'm saying the experience of the expeditionary military engagement the Poles have can be used beautifully for humanitarian aid. The people are there. Yeah. They're 40 years old, 45, they have nothing to do. Think about all the potential people who have great experience. Let's get these people together. Viewers, come. Let's create the Solidarity Corps. Let that be the next big thing.
Let that be a new legacy.
Ain't that something that we can kind of get rid of the political divide and show Poland's best to get the red and white flag into the ground in the places where there's a lot of need? Let's think about that. Maybe this conversation can contribute to getting it rolling.
Continue, I'm sure.